I am back from vacation. It is Monday morning and there is no way I have time to do a budgeting video. So today's video is going to be our Q&A. That's right, time for my hubby and I's Q&A video, so stay tuned. Hi everyone. Are you ready?
Hi.
Here we are for our Q&A, and as you can tell, my husband is super excited to be here with us today. For those of you guys who don't know us, my name is Marlene, aka Snow Gardener 307, and this is my budgeting partner, my husband, Bridger. You guys have been asking for a Q&A for quite some time, and the man finally agreed to it. We finally found time. It is like 9:30 at night, so it's been a long day. Is it 9:30?
No.
Oh, what time is it?
9:25.
Oh, sorry about that. It's 9:25. So we have a list of questions from you guys that we have compiled over a couple of videos, and we're going to do our best to answer them. And I know that it's going to create more questions, and we'll see if this one is willing to do another Q&A. with us or not on our questions. So we will go ahead and get started. These questions are in no particular order. Like I said, they came from two videos and it's been quite a while since they've come out. So we're going to go ahead and start off. So we're going to start with a question from Mary Grace Bedwell, and I'm going to be reading. So I'm going to be looking down. It says, as a fellow Wyomingite, I'd love to know if you find it difficulty to save money living in a rural area. And then she also says, sometimes I feel like we have less options for side hustles, and honestly, sometimes things just cost more. Living in Pinedale, Wyoming, for those of you guys that don't know where it is, Google it. Pinedale, Wyoming is very small. And as a matter of fact, our entire county is so small that we don't even have a stoplight in our entire county. And no, our county's not small. So it definitely creates some issues. In our town, we have one grocery store. So yes, things are quite a bit more. If you try to find clothing locally or anything like that, you are definitely paying more for that. As far as side hustle monies, is that a word? Sounds
Close
wrong.
enough.
Side hustle money. It is definitely challenging. You're moving the camera.
You move the camera.
It's definitely challenging to find the side hustles. But I believe that no matter where you're at, you can figure things out. For example, for me, I went mainly online for my side hustles. My husband, of course, one of his recent side hustles was his poker winnings. That was a good side hustle, right? Isn't that a fun one? But simple things like, one of my side hustles this summer was taking care of my neighbor's yard. I got $50 a month to do it. Every time I mowed my yard, I would mow her yard. If they weren't watering it, then I would go ahead and throw a sprinkler over there. The other thing that has really helped me is my Etsy shop, but also, of course, you can do stuff like online surveys. I have earned quite a bit from Prolific. I haven't been doing them recently, but you can do that.
What is your favorite food or meal? From Lady B92.
So what's your favorite food or meal, do you think?
I like food. If I had to pick, I'd probably say there's two that rate very high, and it's spaghetti or tacos.
For me, my favorite food or meal, I'm the same as my husband. I like food. We love to eat a lot of different food, but I would have to say that my favorite food is sushi. I absolutely love sushi. And so anytime I go out of town and can get it, I oftentimes will pick it. All right, so next it says, are you and your husband budgeting or planning for an early retirement? And this is from Budgeting Just Because. So Chris, yes, we are budgeting, planning for an early retirement. We are still in the final stages of getting our debt paid off to where we can really start amping up our retirement savings, retirement investments, as you guys have seen on my channel, really starting on that. And I know my husband is really, He loves the investing game. He got into investing way before I did. He's way better at it than I am. So if you have investing questions, ask him. No, we're both very new at investing. Like I said, he's done it way more than I have. I am working on maxing out my IRA every single year. And I believe that's something that Bridger is going to be able to start focusing on now that a lot of our debt has been paid off. So definitely, to give you a year, I would like to be able to retire in 10 years. For me, that would be 55. When I say that, it sounds so old. So 10 years, whether it's plausible or not yet, I'm not sure, because I still need to finish this debt-free journey that I'm on before I can see how much I can put into investing. And I know compound interest can work miracles. And if only I would have listened to all the people that told me when I was in my 20s, you should start investing now. I'm trying to teach my children that. My daughter is definitely on board. My son, not so sure. We'll see. He's 16 still. You guys know how that is. Okay, so next, this one is from Veronica Matthews. And I know we read these questions before and we tried not to, rehearse them, but we wanted to at least remember what we were going to say. So it says, was there an aha moment together with your husband, or was it you that first made up your mind to get on this journey? For me, I definitely decided to get on this journey first because we have separate budgets. We had created our own separate budgeting disasters. We were bad, you guys, right? Weren't we we were buying anything and everything and using our cards and swiping them. And so I decided first that I needed to get on the budgeting journey. And the aha moment came during the pandemic when I looked at my bills and went, what am I doing? I can't do this anymore. I've got way too much debt. There was a fear that my husband, who was then my fiance, might get laid off. And I knew between our two sets of bills, I was not doing his budget yet at that point, but I knew mostly what his bills were. And I knew that if he lost his job or got laid off, even with unemployment, that we would be, drowning. And so I decided no more. And I started watching YouTube and I started watching people taking care of their debt. I had tried Dave Ramsey's plan years and years ago when my almost 19-year-old was a baby. Didn't work for me, but I do like a lot of Dave Ramsey's concepts. I think a lot of them need to be updated. For example, I personally don't think $1,000 is enough for emergency savings account. What do you think about that?
An emergency savings, if it was only $1,000, wouldn't make a month for me.
Right. $1,000 is not gonna, if my car breaks down, $1,000 probably isn't gonna fix my car. So, or like our furnace, when our furnace went out years ago, $1,000 isn't gonna buy you a new furnace. And so we definitely don't agree with that. Now, $1,000 is a great place to start. And that's where we both started, with $1,000. But we are continuing to grow our emergency fund. Now, the other person that I really watched and really helped me start my budgeting journey was the Budget Mom. And I really liked her concepts of budgeting, paying off debt, investing, saving, but also living your life. I liked that concept. When my husband did join my budgeting journey, we were both on the same page that yes, we want to get rid of this debt as quickly as we can, but we still want to live our lives because tomorrow is never guaranteed. So I didn't want to be one of those people that worked so hard to pay off debt and didn't get to do stuff. And so that's the way that we've chose to do it. And I don't know, do you have an aha moment for budgeting? Like, what made you decide to join the journey that I was on?
I kind of felt like I was drowning in debt mostly, and it wasn't getting any better, doing more of the same of what I had been doing for years. So it was like, well, something needs to change. Something has to give. And I kind of went, help.
And he had asked me if I would help with his budget. He hated paying bills every single month, and he didn't like budgeting. And I know that feeling because when there's not enough money, budgeting is very, very stressful. Like if you're having to figure out what bill am I not going to pay this payday? How am I going to pay this bill? It's not much fun. But I really enjoyed helping him. And, we came up with a plan together. And we had a couple rules, right? A couple rules that I said, I will help you, as much as you want, but you need to have an input. I'll give you suggestions, but it's your money, so you get to make the ultimate decisions. And the other thing that was a big one for me, and this is just as much was a habit that I had as well, was none of this mindless spending, right? Where you go on Amazon and all of a sudden you've spent $500 on Amazon on heaven knows what, right? Did you really need whatever you ordered? What do you think? Did you really need it? He's like, yes, I needed it.
Yeah.
A lot of times it was wants. And I know for me, a lot of my debt came from spoiling my children, from travel as well, but also sports for my children. That got really expensive. All right, let's see what the next one is. So I know we have this one a couple times, and so I'm just going to answer it the first time. And this one is, where did you meet your hubby? And this was from Jillian Hope. My hubby and I met at work, and we worked at the same place for, I don't know, quite a while before we really knew each other. And then we ended up working together and built a friendship. And now here we are. How many years later? 7, 8 years later? Something like that. I don't know. Okay. So
The first time we met, I was actually giving her and her husband a tour of the building we were in. And I was very awkward. Very awkward. Similar to now.
Okay, this next question is going to be very easy because it has been something that we've actually already done. It says, and this was also from Jillian, it says, have you considered including a net figure in your budgeting, i.e. assets and liabilities? We recently did that and did our net worth, and we have a video about that. I believe I'm going to do our net worth quarterly. I know our net worth has changed a lot here recently with selling of assets and refinancing and paying debt off and everything. So it will be very interesting to see what our actual net worth is. All right, next one. So this is from 2 people, from Maury Timmy Savings and Plan Your One Life. They both asked, when did you start your debt-free journey? I officially started my debt-free journey. I started it in March of 2020. I did my research and stuff in February. I kept track of all of my expenses in February. And I believe my husband, we were just talking about this. I think it was like a month later. He thinks it was more like a couple months later that he actually was officially on board. But we both started in spring of 2020.
It wasn't terribly long after you started, I guess.
It really wasn't. So then we have a question from Shannon from Kitchen Shenanigans. And I'm not sure I know the answer because I'm 45 years old and I've wanted to do a lot of things in my life. And as I've gotten older, things have changed. But let me read it to you guys. It says, what would be your dream job if pay wasn't a factor? If pay wasn't a factor, I don't know. Maybe garden design? I'm just coming up with this on the fly, you guys. Garden design. I know that, our lives have taken a huge change. And actually, right now would probably be a good time to announce the great big huge change. I've kind of hinted at it, let you guys know that there was something big coming. And do you want to share with everybody what you did recently and how it has changed your path in life per se?
So I quit working for the job that I had been working for about 5 years, and working on going into business with another guy, building homes in the future, hopefully. Right now we're doing some renovations and updating of houses.
So you quit your job where you had a guaranteed paycheck as long as you showed up. How do you feel about that?
It's a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm nervous about it, but I think that we can do some really good things.
You guys, I'm super excited for him to take this leap of faith because he was in a job where he wasn't happy. And happiness is really important. And as we know, money is not everything. And so that's what I like about Shannon's question there is it talks about if money and pay wasn't wasn't an object in how you considered what you wanted to do. And that's why for me, I really think designing or creating, I had lost that until recently, not necessarily the garden and stuff like that, but I find that in the career that I'm in now, I had lost a lot of my creativity. In my other positions that I'd had before, I had a lot of creativity in my job and stuff. And so by starting YouTube and also starting designing my Etsy shop, as well as all the printables and the budget sheets and everything, it has just opened my mind again to the creativity. And so I definitely think it would be something on the creative side. I was going to say, would professional traveler, would that classify as a job? Because that's what I would take.
Treasure hunter.
A treasure hunter. That would be fun. That could be fun. And this is Mr. super excited about his new hobby, scuba diving. So there you go, treasure hunter. All right. So let's go ahead and get on to the next question. This is from my friend Kat over at the Fiddish Budgeter in the neighboring state of Colorado. And Kat asked, how do you think your budget or budgeting methods will change next year? I know that one of the things that's going to be a huge change for me is my consumer debt is going to be gone. So my one debt that I will have left will be my vehicle, my car. And I am going to amp up my investing game. I also want to possibly, especially with the help of this guy and his business partner, look at possibly investing in real estate and, maybe purchasing real estate. That is why I am not listed on my husband's mortgage. I am on the paperwork though, but I don't have to pay for it. When he refinanced, when you're legally married in our state, I have the right to the home. And so I had to agree to the refinance and everything. And we kind of joked about that and everything. But so the house is in his name and it's that way on purpose so that if the right investment property comes along, then we can purchase it and start having some more income on the side, right? Because you're only one person. You can only work so many hours in the day. What do you think? Any comments on that one? How your budgeting will change in the future? I mean, your debt's almost gone too. One credit card.
One credit card and a mortgage.
Yeah, one credit card and a mortgage. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Our next question comes from Marcus over at Debt Free Dad. And Marcus asked, do you and the mister celebrate your independent financial goals separately or jointly? We'll celebrate. We always have to celebrate together. If I make a financial goal, he of course is going to join me in the celebration and vice versa. One thing that I think for us is before celebrating used to mean spending a lot of money. I don't think it has to be a lot of money. Oh, the dryer's done if anybody wants to come on over and fold my laundry for me. It always goes off when I'm recording. So I think it's important to help each other and hold each other up when you do a good job, whether, it's an actual celebration or not, just a quick kudos on saying, hey, great job on doing this or that. And I think that's really important. And I think that's why us budgeting separately really works. It takes the stress out of us getting into financial disagreements. I really think it does. I feel like that's a question on here, so I probably shouldn't dive into that one yet. We'll come back to that one. All right, and so I'm going to have my hubby read the next one, so number 11.
It's from Kathy's Cash and Coin. What's your favorite and least favorite part of budgeting? I would say my favorite part is being able to save up for something that I want, and it gives you the opportunity to look forward to it.
Like what? Like what you just buy?
Like a motorcycle. But I would also say it kind of goes hand in hand with the dislike, is not being able to just go out and pick up a brand new whatever it is.
You lose that instant gratification.
Yeah.
You've really got to take that step away. And I think that that's what both of our problems was in the past, was when we wanted something, we wanted it now. We didn't want to save for it 6 months before we could buy it, or we didn't want to think about it years down the road. We wanted it right now. And then Kathy also asked, what is the most difficult part of budgeting for you and your hubby? For me, the most difficult part for his budgeting when I was doing it was he was biweekly pay. And for me, it was figuring out how to divide his bills to make them work on each payday. And for me, it's when I was budgeting, when I first started, I was working a lot of overtime. And now my budget is to where I'm not working a lot of overtime. So that's definitely been challenging. However, my quality of life, since I have stopped saying yes to every hour of overtime, has immensely improved. What do you think? I mean, anything else you can think of for difficult part besides not having that instant gratification of being able to buy it?
I think that's a big part of it for me.
Okay. All right. So now we've got a couple more sheets that I don't know how long these are going to be. This one, I don't know who said that one. Oh, read that one.
So this one's from Finance ABCs. It says, prepaying debt is okay, but don't you think your money would produce more for you if you invested it instead of using it to prepay debt?
What do you think?
I'm sure it would probably create more money, but being able to pay the debt off and everything is going to give you more money to be able to invest it. At least that's the way I look at it. Being able to get more stuff paid off and then be able to invest more at a time.
That makes sense. I know what you're saying. I agree. For me, paying off the debt is peace of mind. I would love to, like I said, have started investing in my 20s. There's no doubt about it. And I should have. But I didn't, right? So here I am at 45 saying, all right, we got to get this done. But if I started investing and then all of a sudden something happened with my job, then I would have all of this debt that I had to pay for. So if I went to get a new job, I would have to make at least as much as I made at my old job, which could be really challenging in the area where I live. And so for me, I think it's just a huge peace of mind to get this debt paid off. And then once we get this debt paid off, we can start amping up the amount of money that we put into our investments. And I know with compound interest, I understand what Finance ABCs is saying. It is true, because you most likely are going to make more money off of $100 that you've invested versus $100 of an extra credit card payment. And I think that that's what's important about that, is that all of us have our own investment journeys or our own budgeting journeys, and we have to decide what we're comfortable with. That's why when you look on the YouTube channels, you see so many of us doing things differently. You just have to find the right way for you and your family to make it work for you. All right, I'm glad you saw that one. I thought we were done with that page and it was on the bottom of the page. So next we're going to go ahead and get a question from Jocelyn from the fabulous state of Hawaii, and her channel name is Cash Me in Paradise. Jocelyn asks, what are some places you'd like to travel to? How long do we have, Jocelyn? How many hours are you going to sit here and listen to us talk about places we want to travel to? Well,
pretty much everywhere.
Everywhere. Not everywhere, but a lot of places.
I said pretty much everywhere.
A lot of places.
Scotland and Ireland.
Yes.
Germany.
I want to go see my friend Erin in Australia. We would love to come see you, Jocelyn, in Hawaii.
Hawaii would be awesome.
I've been to Hawaii, but it was probably 25 years ago, or at least 20 years ago. And Bridger has never been to Hawaii. And now that we have started our scuba diving adventures, anywhere near the ocean is a good thing.
Which also answers the second part of that question.
There you go. The next part of the question says, any new hobbies you picked up during the last year? Scuba diving. So we got our certification in Mexico. and Cozumel. We did that this summer with my daughter. She was already certified. And I'm excited to say this month when we go to California, we are going to be scuba diving as well. I don't know where our next adventure will take us. I know that when we were in Mexico, one of the dive masters, he talked about diving in the Red Sea. And that sounds absolutely amazing to me. And then one thing that we definitely want to rebook is the original honeymoon that the pandemic
ruined.
Like, it's so many things, but I can tell you this. We took that money and we funneled it into our debt, so it got us that much further quicker. But we had a trip to Spain and Italy it was about a week that we were going to be in Spain and Italy. And then we were going to jump on a transatlantic cruise that was going to take us from Italy back to the United States. And it was, the total trip time was like 24 days or something like that. So I want to be able to rebook that when travel and everything gets back to normal, you know, but it's going to take us a number of years to be able to cash flow that vacation anyway. But so we love to travel. Next, we've got Michelle versus debt. And so Michelle's question is, did you have a never again moment, as Dave Ramsey says? He was talking about this one, and I want him to answer this because he knows the answer.
So a few years ago, I had paid off a pickup, and we went to a city for a hockey game, actually. And I made the wonderful decision to go and purchase a new pickup, and without trading in the pickup that I paid off, and ended up walking out of there with the newer pickup and a $900 and some odd payment that I couldn't afford.
But the truck was pretty.
It was a pretty truck.
And the truck lasted until when? How long did you have that truck?
Oh, the truck that I paid off, I was probably less than a month after I bought the newer pickup and blew the engine out of it. Blew the engine up in it.
So then he had no money to fix that one. And then the red truck that he bought is the one that he just sold. He just sold it. He no longer has that $945 a month payment. And and he was able to take some of the money and put it towards the motorcycle that he wanted. So for me, I think I've had that moment a lot, over and over, and say I'm not going to do that again. I think I've had those quite a few, and quite a few times, I should say. But I can't think of one exact one. So we're just going to let hubby answer that one. So next we have got budgeting with Nurse Nay. And she asks, what is your favorite envelope to stuff? And what is your least favorite? My favorite envelope to stuff is vacation, aka travel, because it means that we're going to get to go some places. My least favorite envelope to stuff is actually one of my husband's. And this is sinking fund for garbage. I mean, there's a lot of them, but that one is definitely at the bottom because, you know, just garbage. You're just paying for garbage. What about you? What do you think? Do you have a different favorite or least favorite? He doesn't do the actual stuffing or the actual budgeting, but he does do the spending.
I'm actually not even sure what envelopes I have.
We need to remind him what he has.
Like vacation.
We both love vacation. He also likes having his envelope where he can buy stuff, right? Uh-oh, his phone went off. See how he is? He doesn't know to silence his phone. All right, and then it says, budgeting with Nurse Nate also says, what made you start budgeting and cash envelope stuffing and when? So we already talked about the when. And for me, it was because swiping the card was not working. I wasn't understanding how much money I was spending until I had already spent it, and you can't take the money back. So cash works for me. When I go to the grocery store with a debit card, I fill up the cart full of all kinds of amazing food that I don't need. When I have cash, I am the crazy lady there with her calculator, writing down the prices of everything so that when I leave the store, I can pay with my cash because I don't want to swipe my card. And stuff like fuel for the cars, stuff like that, that's not an overspending. You know, if I need fuel, I need fuel. But groceries was definitely a big one, and online spending was a big one for me. And I think this guy just went with what I do because he saw me doing it and he knew it would be easy. But he actually has transitioned his spending money and his fuel money and stuff to a digital format. And how are you liking that?
I like it for the most part. It's through, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is. It's through Stash, and that's the outfit that I do my investing through. And when I spend with the card, it actually will round up the dollar amount to the next dollar up and put that into my investment account so that I can invest it. It also, when I use it certain places, I get a little tiny piece of stock from either the place that I'm making the purchase at. The one that sticks out in my mind right now is Shell. And then a lot of them, it just comes back to kind of a generic stock.
So it's like a rewards card, and you're just getting rewarded with stocks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or investing. So, like, we both have our newest credit card that we've opened. Yes, you heard that right. Yes, we are on a debt-free journey, but we still believe in using credit cards. Our newest credit card that we actually opened right when we got back from Mexico. Or maybe on the trip on the way back. I don't know. It was pretty close because we traveled on American Airlines. And I had kind of looked at it on the way down, and I realized that he's trying to get the cat on camera. I realized that I could have saved like almost $200 in baggage fees. There she is. In baggage fees for just having that credit card and using that credit card. Then, of course, they also had the sign-on bonus, I think, of like 50,000 miles or something. So our next vacation, with just the two of us, we should have free flights. I'm imagining we'll go somewhere where we can scuba dive again. So whether it's in the United States or maybe Mexico, or where was the one place that...
I was going to say Belize, but I don't think that's where it was at.
But
Panama?
There's a lot of places where we can go. So, all right, here we go. Back to this right here. Then we've got our friend Shannon again. She had asked another question. Leave it up to good old kitchen shenanigans to ask a question like this. Right, Shannon? You know what you did. This is a different Shannon, but you know what you did. So what is the best and worst or most annoying thing each of you do? Uh-oh. So the best thing that my husband does for me is he lets me be my own person. He supports me, but he doesn't try to do stuff for me. My personality, I'm sure you guys can tell, I'm very A-type personality, and I like to do things my way because my way is the right way. But he supports me. Sometimes he lets me fall on my face when he knows that there's a better way for me to do it than what I want to. But he's not standing there going, I told you so, after I've maybe fallen. The most annoying thing that he does is snores. Yep, he's a snorer. So that's what I got. Now it's your turn.
Pass.
You already told me what the most annoying thing I do is, so we might as well share it with the YouTube community. I'm sure none of them will be shocked to hear this. You remember that I mother you? He's like, he must be thinking of a different one now.
No. I just didn't want to say it out loud.
I didn't want to say that. I sometimes am very overbearing, and I know that. And over the years in our relationship, I believe it's gotten better. Now, I can kind of tell by the look on his face when I'm doing it. So I try to stop if I can help it. So that's what he had told me before. What about the best part? Was the budgeting the best part?
the spot again. I don't like it.
I didn't. Shannon put you on the spot.
Thanks, Shannon.
He said pass. We might have to come back to that, right? Like on the game show where you can't think of the answer, so you pass and then you come back to it. We'll make him think of it before we're done here. So next we've got Mommy Trader. And she asked us, how do we both handle money disagreements when they arise? This is the great thing about budgeting separately. I really don't think we have money disagreements. We talk about money. And of course we pay for things together, like travel, like different things like that. But we each make our own decisions on our own big purchases. Like, am I super happy that my hubby bought a motorcycle? Probably not. But it's something that he wanted and he had the money to do it. So I was super excited for him to be able to have something he wanted. But I can't think of money disagreements we have. We both kind of came up with like our set budget for our groceries and stuff like that, like eating out. We both have our own money to spend on whatever we want. So, you know, like with the allowance that we decide to give ourselves, we can spend it on whatever we want. And I think that goes a long ways. I know, just in case you guys were wondering, this is neither of our first marriage, so that we're both on our second marriage. And I think that maybe we learned something in our first marriage. Maybe not, I don't know. But I think having our finances separate is a great thing. And like I said, it doesn't mean we don't put money together, and it doesn't mean we don't have goals together. Okay. Then, these are messed up. There we go. So, mind your money. She asked, and this one is an easy one. Who said I love you first? I did. And he looked at me and ran the other way. Not really, but he did look at me and go, oh, that's nice.
I don't think I said that.
All right, then we have got my mom on a budget, Philippines. She asked if we had $1,000 to spend on anything, what would you buy? If I had $1,000 right now that I hadn't budgeted for anything, I would buy, I'm sitting here thinking there's a couple things I can think of. I'm trying to determine for one. Because one, I want to say travel, but $1,000 really isn't going to take me where I want to go. So my second thing would probably be garden stuff. $1,000. I could easily spend $1,000 on my backyard setting up more of what I want to do for gardening. And that includes vegetables and stuff, but also flowers. What about you?
Probably a tattoo or two.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next, we've got raise budgets. And let me read this a little bit. It says, when you two met, were you both already budgeting and paying off debt, or did you start together one before the other? We kind of touched base on that already. We both were together and then created more of a financial disaster as we were together before we were married. I started first. And then the next part of Ray's question is, if one of you started before the other, what was it like getting on board together? It was really, I think, quite easy. I just started for myself. And as my hubby watched what I was doing, he saw the successes I was having. He saw me getting excited about things and how things were working. And then I think that just made him want to have that success too. Because whether he wanted to or not, when I went to cash envelopes, the way that our budget works is that from the beginning, well, not from the beginning, but once we split things up and divided, like he paid the mortgage, but I would give him money for my half. We would split the bills and stuff. And so part of the thing that I would pay for out of my check would be groceries. But I would take half of the grocery money and subtract it from what I owed him for the mortgage. And so when we first started, we spent $800 a month on groceries. That came out of my check, so I pulled it out in cash and started the cash envelopes with that without really him on board, but he didn't do a lot of the grocery shopping anyway, so it didn't affect him greatly. You think there's anything else as far as that one?
No, it was pretty easy. Just watching her as she's paying off her debt and not having to worry as much as she was going through month to month. It's been very nice not having to worry how I'm going to pay my bills.
That is never good. I think most of us have been there, and it's not fun. Like I said, when you're budgeting and you don't have enough money to pay the bills, it's never any fun. And especially if you've got children and you've got all of that stuff, I mean, it creates a whole nother balance of stress. So then we've got Kathy's Cash and Coins on here again, because we had these questions on 2 videos. And on this question, Kathy says, I'm not actually entering the drawing because I've already won multiple times, because I don't know if you guys watch Kathy's channel or not. I think she won like 9 or 10 giveaways or something. So she had a lot. So on here, she asked how we met. We already told you guys we met at work. But her next question is kind of unique, so I figured I'd go ahead and ask it. It says, any advice for dating, etc., for those of us a bit older? I have no idea. I don't know any advice. Living in a very small town for me and meeting somebody that I would end up marrying, neither of us planned on our relationship developing into a marriage and a lifelong love. Oh. So, I'm sorry, Kathy.
Be confident.
There you go. Be confident. There's your word of advice right there. So then we've got Lady B 92. Oh, wait. Did we already have this one? Was this the same question I already had on here for Lady B?
Yes.
We already had that one. Lady B asked about food, and I have it on here twice. Then we have got our friend Aaron from Aaron Twibbles Around Aimlessly. You want to read that one?
It says, if I could add any envelope not already on the envelope category list in the budget, what category/envelope would he add? I add. That's a really good question.
He doesn't remember what his categories are.
I don't remember what my categories are at the top of my head. I have to
Your
do some
categories
research.
Your categories are mostly bills. Your categories are mostly bill related. So I think pretty much anything extracurricular or fun related is not included in your categories besides vacation.
Well, probably a new bike fund.
A new bike fund.
Or
Because
a new snowmobile fund.
He doesn't need a new snowmobile.
New truck fund.
A new truck fund. Okay. All right. So now we've got Veronica Matthews. She asked another question. And so Veronica, her question, it says, it seems you do not have a traditional relationship. I get a very non-traditional vibe, which I love. So who proposed to who? What do you guys think? Who proposed to who?
I proposed.
Bridger proposed to me. So, yes, he proposed to me and it was very shocking. But yes, it was fun. All right, so next we have got Mama's Budgeting Journey, but it looks like she asked a question that we already answered because Shannon asked, what is one thing that annoys you about each other? And for me, of course, I said snoring. And this one didn't say it, but I said it for him. That I tend to be the mother hen when I don't need to be. Then we have got Get Personal with Patty. It says, I'm sure your husband is supportive, but does he think you're nuts with all the videos? Well, it says, does he think you're nuts? Laugh out loud like mine sometimes with all the videos. So what are you going to tell Patty?
I think that it's awesome. I think it's awesome that she found this and that she enjoys doing it. I laugh at her sometimes, but...
He laughs at me all the time when I'm filming and stuff, but he's been very supportive. And most recently, when I reached that 1,000 subscriber, and then now we're starting to see the monetizations starting to happen. He's made several comments about being proud of me and things like that, and it just makes my heart warm. All right. Then we have got Claire Hewitt, and this one is very similar to the other ones, but I do want to make sure that everybody that asked a question, gets a shout out on our channel. Our channel. Did you hear that? I gave him credit. It's not his. It's mine. Claire asks, when you first started budgeting, were you both on board? If not, how long did the other one take before they got on board? And so we talked about that. It was probably 6 weeks. I say a month. He says 2. We know how that goes. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle there. And I think he was thinking about it at the same time I was. He just needed to process a little bit longer and see actually what I was going to be doing and how it was going to work.
I was nervous about the cash only. I had never experienced anything like that before, so I just didn't know.
Right. And he did it for a while, and he had his cash in his wallet and stuff like that, and he would do that for all of his spending money and his fuel. And then once his finances got where they needed to be, and he had money and he found this stash program where he could get extra money for investing and stuff like that, it was a win-win. So next, I guess this one is for me. I was going to have him read it, but I'll read this one. It's from Brione's Season. It says, what do you love the most about your hubby? So I can't use the same thing, I guess, right? What else can I say? What I love about my hubby is he's my hubby. Does that count? What I love about him most is that he's mine. Like I said, he's very supportive of me, and what else? Things and stuff. He's very supportive and stuff. I'm trying to think of something else, because there's a lot of stuff, but I didn't know that one was on there. I hadn't read that part, so I wasn't ready for another one. I love that he makes me feel beautiful. On days when I'm having a bad day, or I've gained weight, or anything like that, he always makes me feel like I'm beautiful. Oh. All right, next question. Enough mushy.
Question is from Johanna. It's, what is your goal/plan after paying off your debt? I would say building up retirement, getting the investing going really well, trying to get to where I don't have to work for a living.
That sounds good to me. Once I pay off the one credit card that I have got to come up to a decision, because my debt snowball, once I pay this credit card, will actually be over $1,000 a month. I don't know if I want to pay an extra $1,000 a month to my car, or if I just want to double my car payment and then go ahead and take the rest of that and really amp up my investing game. But I definitely want to get to where we can have that financial independence. And of course, I know that there's the FIRE movement out there, and that is something that we haven't discussed yet, exactly what level of FIRE that we want to be. And he's looking at me going, fire? What's fire? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, honey. We'll talk about it on a future video. But we definitely want to retire early, and we just have to actually sit down and figure out what level of retirement we want. Because for me, I ain't ever going to stop working. I'm not the person that can. I'm always going to be busy doing something, but I would love it to be on my own terms. And I personally would love to be able to work from home, to where that I can, during the summer, when I want to go garden in the morning, I can go garden in the morning. And then when it's hot in the afternoon, I can come in and do work stuff. So that's one thing that I would absolutely love. So the next question is that the last one?
No.
Oh, Alicia J. She said, what made you decide to start making YouTube videos? I decided because I thought, why not? I needed to find a positive outlet in my life. I really started watching YouTube in January of 2020. And I know that sounds crazy because so many people have been watching YouTube for so many years, but I never did. There were coworkers that would watch YouTube videos at work and stuff like that, and that wasn't me. That's not what I did. And I started watching in January 2020 for budgeting purposes. And then I found gardening channels, and then I started finding more things that I absolutely loved. And I watched budgeters and I watched their journey and I watched them in awe and said, I think that would be a lot of fun. And finally, I had met enough people on YouTube that they kept saying, give it a try. What do you have to lose? Go ahead and try. And I talked to my husband about it. He's like, do it, do it. Just jump in with 2 feet. Go ahead and do it. And so it was in December of 2020 that I started my YouTube channel. And the reason why I decided to start in December 2020 was it was Vlogmas. And I am Christmas crazy. Ask my husband what I bought at the thrift store today. He's going to show you guys something, I think. And so because of Vlogmas, I thought, this is a great way to jump into YouTube because I love Christmas. I could do short little Christmas things, stuff like that. And then in January, I started with the budgeting. You want to show them the meme?
I don't know if I can do it on here.
It's going to be backwards. Dang it. You're going to have to read it to him.
Aww. So it says, husband, did you buy more Christmas decoration? And then it's got the person sweating because they're so nervous about answering the question. And then it just says,
For the answers, it looks like, what game show is that?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
It says, I've had that. And then it's all about the spirit of the season for the kids. And then it says, it was on sale. And then the last one is, I bought you a new video game.
So he sends me this every time I go to the thrift store and come up with Christmas stuff. But luckily, that's another thing that I love about my hubby, is he doesn't complain when I bring home Christmas stuff.
My favorite new one, though, is every time she goes someplace and says, I was looking for fall stuff. So, I sent her that meme.
Yes. So I jumped in Vlogmas, and then in December, I had a couple budgeting videos, but not much. And January, I really started with the budgeting videos. I wish that I would have started my channel when I started my budgeting journey. I really do. I would have loved to have filmed the progress from April 2020. So if any of you guys are thinking about doing a YouTube channel, my thing is, what do you have to lose? Put yourself out there. For me, the positive influence that it has had on my life has been amazing. There are always going to be negative people in this world, so we just ignore them. One of my favorite things that I've heard a YouTuber say was she was doing the like challenge like I do. So for every like, I'll put $1 towards my debt or whatever. And there was like 2 thumbs downs on there. And she goes, and I know that had to have been a mistake. And I'm sure you meant to hit the thumbs up button. So we're going to go ahead and add $1 to the debt snowball for the thumbs down as well. And I just thought that was hilarious. But, it's just a positive influence. It's been a lot of fun. It is very time consuming. I will tell you guys that. And this one knows that. But that's the good thing, is he's been so supportive when I say I've got a YouTube video to film, like instead of cooking dinner or something. They're like, all right. They find something else to eat. So it's been really nice as far as that goes. Christmas crazy. All right. And last question has already been answered, but we want to make sure she gets a shout out. Busy Life, Busy Wife asked how we met. And like we said, we met at work. Then I want to point out my hubby's shirt. You guys, this is what Brianna Life and Budgets made for him. It says, it's not easy being my wife's arm candy. That was his birthday present that she made for him. So a quick shout out to her. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that's long enough. I think I've tortured my husband, who is not a social butterfly, just in case you guys didn't know. I've tortured him enough to make me here on camera. Should be fun editing this video. But
especially
we want to...
the awkward silences.
Yes. We want to thank you guys for all of the questions that you asked us. And we will probably do another Q&A somewhere down the road if I can talk him into doing it. I don't think I've tortured him too bad. I don't think I've scarred him too bad. So I think we're probably good. Oh, he wants to write the answers down next time. So he doesn't have that on the spot moment where he freaks out, right? And that's it, everybody. This is our goodbyes. And as I always tell you guys, remember to keep on smiling. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Your back killing you?
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to slouch together?
No. I need to work on my posture anyway.
A town and a county. What?
I was growing because I realized
You realized I was looking taller than
you.
you.
Were sitting up, and I'm like,
Oh, okay.
why did you put me on the spot?
No. Well, that's it, everyone. Thank you for staying tuned for our silliness at the end. And if you watched all the way to the end, I want you to put what emoji do I want you to put? I want you to put a great big grinning smiley emoji. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Transfer Tuesday. Bye.